Hi, I'm Robert Kurtzman, creator of From Dusk Till Dawn, and you're watching the Best Damn Movie Show.
This is Vinny with the Best Damn Movie Show. I'm here with Robert Kurtzman. He's special effects director. Also, he's worked on makeup on movies. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
How's the week treating you here at Spooky Empire?
Great. I'm having a blast. Getting to meet a lot of people and getting to see a lot of old friends, so it's cool.
You know, we've talked a couple times this whole weekend, and I have a buddy of mine, he's talked to you, and I tell you, talking to a guy like you that's done so much, not even just acting, but in like directing, producing, special effects, things like that, it's more interesting to talk to somebody like you than an actual actor, because you probably have more stories to tell because you're behind the scenes than the actual people on set. What do you think was the most craziest, memorable moment that you think that you've had on the set?
One of the craziest moments, probably, we were doing Austin Powers Goldmember, and I don't know if you remember this scene where they had a sumo wrestling thing, and Fat Bastard's wearing the suit.
Yep.
And so Mike Myers is in the suit, and he's got the what we call a cool suit underneath, which is a water-cooled suit.
So it's not so hot?
Yeah. And there's a kind of an umbilical that you plug in to the water cooler system. So they're getting ready to roll, and there's a whole place is full of Japanese extras, you know. And they're all sitting in there, it's the crowd, you know. And they just got ready to roll, and I'm standing outside the ring and realized that the umbilical was hanging out of Mike Myers' ass. Because that's where we stuffed it up between the ass cheeks, you know. So without even thinking, I jumped in the ring, ran over, grabbed it, and shoved it up his ass, the cord, and didn't realize it, but everybody went ballistic in the audience.
So it was actual...
I was fisting Fat Bastard, and they just busted up laughing, and then I realized, oh my God, I just did that in front of everybody. And so it was pretty funny.
So it was actually shot in an arena and a ring.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. And how was it to work with Mike Myers? I know he's such an SNL legend on the panel. I mean, is he a real cool guy to where, I mean, he can pretty much controls the script, like it's his script kind of?
Yeah, because it's his script, it's his character, and he's a big improv guy, and he likes to take up different kind of approaches to the take, and different. Throwing out different lines and stuff. So working with him, it was great working with comedic actors like him and Sandler, just to be able to watch them go through their process on the set. So
now, what would you say? Who would you say you worked with in the last, I don't know, decade or two, that as a director that you thought that his vision on the film, and you got to see it after you worked on it, was just amazing. Like, he just has so many great ideas.
Well, obviously Quentin was, he always comes up with something great, that's interesting, and his characters are just so freaking awesome, and the dialogue is so awesome that when you're on the set and you're watching these actors just, chew into his dialogue, it's pretty amazing. And the movies always have the, interesting style, or, even though he changes up genres sometimes, I think that's cool, from westerns to, karate films or, kung fu movies.
And you worked on Halloween 5, correct?
Yes.
And you were, I forget, was it special effects or was it makeup?
We did the special effects makeup, yeah.
Now, tell us about that. Now, Halloween, I feel like it's all shot, each movie's really different from each other. And like number 3, really, I don't understand why they shot number 3, because wasn't it about like radios or something like that? It was like,
that was
out there.
That was the Druid connection with the 8 more days till Halloween, and they were going to kill all the kids with little laser chips in their masks. And that they tried to spin it off and get rid of Michael Myers and try to do something new with it, and it didn't work. But and then they brought Michael back for the 4th.
Now, was 5 pretty cool to work with? I mean,
yeah, it was a fun movie to work on, but we did the mask, which I sculpted, and then kind of during the process, the director wanted a bigger nose put on it, so now we had to glue a nose to it, and we started calling it the schnoz because I hated the mask after that. It didn't look like the mask.
And you said you've known Danielle Harris for a long time now, right?
Yeah, since the fifth film, and she was just a little kid, you know. And I've known her ever since. I see her shows, and she's a great girl.
And you'd probably do convention with her. You see her all the time. Now, the people out there watching, if they're going to look you up, what would you say the top 4 or 5 things you've done that you're known for?
I think, Army of Darkness is one of those iconic movies that people always gravitate towards, you know. The other one would be From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean,
George Clooney.
Yeah, George is a sweetheart, and he's just really fun. I really enjoyed working with him on the set. He's just a great guy, and has a lot of fun. You know, he doesn't take it seriously.
He keeps it going?
He takes it seriously, but he has fun with it, so it's like, you know.
And then you worked on Tusk, which, I mean, that movie itself is in, I feel like it's in the horror category, but it's in a different category by itself because it's so unique.
Right.
And then you did the special effects on that, correct?
Yes.
Now, I mean, tell us about that. I mean, when Kevin Smith approached you with the concept, did you kind of think like, I mean, I've never heard of this before?
Yeah, there's actually a couple movies like that I got the script for and then went, what the hell? You know? And one of them was Bubba Hotep.
Oh, okay, Bubba Hotep. You know, I just saw that last year.
Don gave me the script for that, and I was like, what in the hell is this, man? You know? Elvis is alive in a rest home fighting mummies, you know? It's just pretty fucked up. But, Tusk was that kind of script, you know, where you read it and went, holy crap, you know, this is so far out. And then Kevin, you know, having a conversation with Kevin, he's great because there's certain directors like Quentin and Robert Rodriguez and Kevin that we all came up kind of at the same time in the business, and we grew up on the same stuff. So there's this shorthand with those directors that, you know, you can reference things and instantly zero in on, you know, the idea, you know. So when Kevin, you know, he's like, this man, he's made out of, you know, skins, and it's like he's patched together like, you know, in a walrus suit, and instantly it was, so it's like Leatherface, Frankenstein, you know, patchwork, different colored skins, all stitched really poorly together, you know. And so it instantly, you know, I knew what he was looking for. So our initial sketch was almost dead on what we ended up with. We showed him the sketch, did a 3D sketch in the computer of it, and then Kevin would just switch things around a little bit, like put the ear up on his shoulder and put the face down on his ass, you know, and that was pretty much it.
What was the suit made of?
It was made out. We used latex, foam latex. We had this floaty, those floaties that you go in a swimming pool with.
Oh, okay.
We had those lining the whole inside of it to keep it buoyant in the water. So it was just, we sculpted the whole thing out of clay and then molded it in fiberglass and ran all the pieces out of that. So we had about 6 suits altogether.
Now, was that the same thing kind of with Goldfinger, where you had to have the tubes and things to keep them so, or was it just,
no,
you're in the suit, man, and you're going to swim to death?
Yeah, we didn't have a cool suit for that. And, you know, when he was in the water, it wasn't necessary anyway.
Oh, because it's,
cool,
yeah,
but,
you keep...
but when he was outside of that, you know, he would crawl in the bottom of it, and we'd have to put the padding around his body to keep him, because, you know, he was kind of on his knees, so you had to build out the stomach and then build out behind his legs to keep the suit shape, you know, from collapsing funny or doing anything weird. So, and it took about 45 minutes to put him in the suit after he was in a 2-hour makeup. So.
And that was, God, I can't remember his name right now.
Justin Long?
Justin Long. And you know, and Justin Long's the kind of actor where he's not real big, but he's still acting, he's still doing crazy parts. And, I mean, was it kind of weird to see, like, did you ever forget that Justin Long was actually in that suit? I mean, like, because, like, when you watch the movie, sometimes you're like, you know, or if you watch it and you're like, you haven't seen the whole thing, you're like, who's in the suit?
Right.
You won't know.
Yeah, but I mean, the one thing that translates in the makeup is his eyes. It's always Justin here, you know. So I never lost track of him because it was him in the performance, and it was his eyes, and so you never kind of lost that it was Justin. You know, so.
And then Kevin, I mean, have you worked with Kevin before? This is the first time.
That was the first time, but then I did Yoga Hosers right after that with him. So.
And he's kind of he's in the horror genre. He likes horror, but he's more of a comic book villain,
right?
You can say. And then I mean, are you a fan with Clerks and like Clerks 3? Like, do you think from watching Clerks 2, do you think there's a story? I mean, like in your eye, do you see that they can continue a story? Or do you think he's going to come up with a whole brand new flip to it?
Well, he'll probably come up with a whole flip to it. But, you know, he knows those characters inside and out, and, you know, he'll do something interesting with it. So.
And then I want to talk about, real quick, Deadly Impact. You directed that film, right?
Yeah.
And what's that about? Because I know you have it on your table. I haven't seen it yet.
It's an action picture. It's about Joe Pantoliano plays a kind of a international assassin bomber. And it's kind of he's pitted against a cop who years before they had a confrontation that destroys the police officer's life, and it's about him picking up the pieces 10 years later and getting the chance to make things right and get even with him.
So it sounds like a really good action flick.
It's a fun picture. Yeah.
And then anything else that you're working on currently that you can tell us about?
We just finished Funhouse Massacre. It'll be probably coming out next year, and it's a fun picture. We shot in Dayton, Ohio,
and you're from Ohio.
Yeah, that's where my studio is now. So I was in LA for 20 years, and then moved my studio back to Ohio.
So you're from Ohio. So the difference, I mean, there's a big difference in Ohio to California. LA's fast-paced.
Yeah.
In Ohio, is there a lot of things being shot out there? I mean, you know how back in the day it was either New York or LA. Now it's like they're shooting in North Carolina, they're getting up to Texas, New Orleans, because they're getting these tax write-offs to write the movies.
Right.
Is it like that in Ohio?
Yes, they have an incentive package, and there's been a lot more productions coming into Ohio, so we've been very busy actually. Doing 2 or 3 things a year.
They did Transformers there, some of it?
They did. Well, they did that Detroit, a lot of it. They did Avengers.
That's right. It was Avengers. It was in
Captain America. I think they shot up there.
Does that boost the economy when something like that comes? Like, do people fly in just to see, like, to be, because, like, you know, some people, you know, they want to be part and see how it's, you know, made. So people will go to New York, like the Turtles. You know, people know the Turtles are being shot in New York, so they'll make sure they're in those backgrounds. Is that that's a big incentive for the town or the city for them to come in and shoot that?
Well, yeah, you know, it's an economic boost to the area. Not only does it hire locals on the movie crew and local artists, but they bring in crews, the hotels, the restaurants, everything benefits from that. So.
And in the summer of 2015 movies, this is probably one of the biggest movies of the last couple of decades. And we talked about Mad Max yesterday, and we really enjoyed it.
I really dug that movie.
And we were talking about how crazy George Miller is, where you know, he's like 70 now. You know, he directed the other ones back in
early 80s. 79 I think was the first Mad Max.
And you told me this. I didn't know that. The guy in the suit. Exactly.
Yeah, the villain is the villain from the first film. Yeah.
And he's old too, right? He's like in the 70s.
He's gotta be. Yeah.
Is there anything else you're looking forward to, like Jurassic Park or Terminator?
You know, I'll go see those. They look like they're going to be fun, but my big summer movie was Mad Max Fury Road. I just was dying for that. I saw the second film, Road Warrior, at the drive-in when I was 16, and had a great night with my grandfather watching it, you know, and then, you know, this one looks so awesome in the trailers, and luckily it really held up. It was a kick-ass project.
Do you think there's a time, I always say, I feel like there's a time window for people to make films, because, you know, you wait 10, 15 years to make a film, people forget it, it's not as big as it was when it got released. Like, take Star Wars, for instance. I know you're probably looking forward to Star Wars. just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
But do you think the window sometimes is gone, or it's like, or like Friday the 13th? How many times can you redo something on top of something? It's never going to change. Like, you're never going to get past that. It's Michael Myers, or not Michael Myers, Jason in a mask, and he's doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that window's there, or do you just think that
some of those movies, you know, almost kind of get passed down generation to generation, and the parents show their kids or introduce their kids to the movies, and then, you know, and then there's a whole new generation that watches the new versions that come out or whatever. But yeah, obviously there's, you know, certain things that people don't, like, today wouldn't even remember, like certain characters, and Mad Max is probably one of them. Like, kids today are like, who's the Road Warrior? Who's Mel Gibson? I don't ever heard of him, you know? And you're like, you know, but then there's, you know, us guys that grew up with those movies. We're going to go see it, but we're also going to take our kids to go see it, you know, and introduce them to that character. So,
what do you think about, like, when Metallica does their, like a band, like a big band like Metallica comes in and does a film surrounding a concert? Like, it's kind of really never been done. I mean, what do you think about something like that? I mean, do you think it's interesting, or do you, like, I know they came out with some kind of monster, which was kind of like a documentary about them and their struggles to make their album.
Right.
But, I mean, what do you think about the new one they did, where they shot the movie totally around this kid that's in the concert?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like a concert film with a storyline running through it. I thought it was interesting. I didn't see the film, but I saw the trailer when it came out.
A lot of bands are doing that too.
Yeah.
Like Shinedown has one.
Right.
I know Avenged Sevenfold has a movie coming out. All right, before we go, where can they find you if they want to follow you or they want to see some of your work or anything like that?
Well, you can check out Robert Kurtzman on Facebook, but go to the website, which is creaturecore.net, and that's creaturecore, C-O-R-P-S, like Marine Corps.net.
And can they buy some of the masks and things?
Yeah, we have a catalog online and merchandise and various stuff online. So
cool. Well, I want to thank you for your time, man.
Thanks, man. No
Thank
problem.
you.
You're welcome.